Show me what you are doing, what you have tried for the past years as a teacher, trying to break out of the box, and it is not working. At least that will be a recompense. You see, it is okay if your mom or your dad has been a teacher, she sent you to school, you are also now a teacher. You can't come and give the same complaint that your mom gave. You can't come and give the same complaint that your dad gave. You see, the excellency of your life should be built on the fact that you have learned lessons from those who have gone ahead of you.
Elorm Michael. Hey, Charlie, it's been a while.
I mean, it's been a very long while.
Now, dear, as you come to Accra, you know, come house again. Today, I can't catch you for house.
I mean, I think it's always good to be back home. I've missed home, and then I'll be going back one of these days very soon.
You go come closer to.
Okay, all right. So
how has the Accra been like Accra life?
I mean, it's been great in Accra. Accra, I think, is the land of opportunities, as many would always say. It comes with its own hurdles and its own daily challenges here and there. But then, I think basically it's all about what you're able to make out of what you've been presented with.
Okay.
And for me, I tell people that greener pastures is not really about being in Europe or in the US or wherever. Greener pastures is where you are able to identify the right opportunities to make the best out of them.
So we have greener pastures in Ghana too.
I mean, there is greener pastures in Ghana.
People are moving from Niger to Ghana. So.
Of course. No, but even aside that, on the more serious note, I mean, by the virtue of what I do and then the privilege of God and by the grace of God, I meet people who turn over $1 million every year in Ghana. Very young people who the minimum turnover is. In fact, I've met people who even have a business that employ about 5 or 10 people who turn over about $7 million every year in Ghana. Right in Ghana. And it's been consistent with this for about 5 years and counting. So it's not. It is not to also say that, of course, there could be better improvements. There could be room for better stuff to be done in terms of even business and our social life, economic life, and all of that stuff. But then, it's also not to say that largely, I personally don't believe in the conversation. I mean, I have no prejudices or anything towards those who are traveling out and all that and everything. But I just don't believe that the motive the narrative should be as if once you travel out, it's going to be a bread and butter stuff. It's just milk running out of the street for you just to fetch and drink and then just make merry. It's not really as it is. If you travel out of Ghana, being in Europe or the US, anywhere you find yourself, it's still going to be work. It's still going to put in more work.
I mean, talking about that, a lot of people go to Europe, even now, and they reach there, they find out that it's not as rousy as they thought it was. But of course, if you want to put all those things into, use the metrics of the living standard compared to this place, Ghana, you realize that place is far better. I think that's the more reason why people are, moving there for a new life, a new start, better conditions of living. Yeah.
So I think, for me, that conversation, it depends on the motive with which you are traveling out. Traveling out of Ghana is not bad at all. In fact, it's a very good opportunity. I think by far, one of the dreams of largely most young people is you want to travel out. I mean, if it looks like if you get a US visa now, you get a UK visa, man. I mean, it's
who would want to go to
Europe? It's a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean, it could take a lot of Thanksgiving in church, a whole family gather, to acknowledge such. And it's not bad. It's good. It's at its place. But I just feel that the mentality with which people perceive traveling out, I think, is where there is a little bit of a challenge. Say, for example, when you meet an average person who wants to travel out, tell you, no, I want to travel out to make money. I mean, things are better over there, but things not better over there. Ghana, the economy is hard and this and that. So I just do a simple matrix, okay? Let's say you've traveled out of Ghana, you're going to the US or the UK. You are being paid, let's just do the average. Let's say about a $10 per hour for the work you do. And let's say at the end of the month, you are earning, let's say, about $2,000 or $3,000. Okay, that is okay if you're able to convert that into Ghana cedis, then it looks like it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then you're going to pay your bills in USD. You are paying your rent in USD. You are paying your utilities and everything in USD. That is in one place. The second thing is, of course, it looks like, so say if I'm in UK, for example, and I'm in London and I have to wake up in the morning, use the train or use the bus and then go to work. It looks like there is more easy access. I mean, I can literally know that my bus is going to be at this terminal point at this time, and I'm just joining it and I'm just going. But in Ghana, if you want to join Trotro, and then let's say you are starting at Medina Station to get Trotro to Accra, you have to sit in with the whole sweat and uncoordinated Trotro system and all that. So it looks like there is more stress in that.
Yeah, really terrible.
Than being outside. But then when you look at it, if you are earning 3,000 cedis in Ghana, you are earning $3,000 in the US, and you want to base your expenditure and your life on what is the name? The economic condition of those two countries. At the end of the day, you most likely be saving maybe, let's say, roughly about 500 cedis, $500 over there. Now, when you are saving $500 over there, your expenditure is not here in Ghana, except of course the motive is to make money there and then send it back to Ghana to do something in Ghana.
That's what most people do.
But even at that, it has its own dynamics that you have to look at. Okay, but then if it is a quest of, okay, if I'm making money in Ghana, spending it in Ghana, and then this 500 cedis is what I'm saving at the end of the day, and you compare to that place, of course, $500 is far more than 500 cedis. But for me, more than that, I am looking at the conversation where whatever you are doing now really shouldn't be the focus. But the growth, the system for growth is what is most important for me.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it from this angle. Fine. If I'm in Ghana, let's say I'm working in a government agency, and then I'm ending, let's say my salary is 3,000 cedis take home at the end of the month. I'm looking at the growth potential here in Ghana and what the prospect looks like. And then let's say I'm also in the US, and then I'm working on hourly basis, and then I'm being paid $10 per month, per an hour. I'm also looking at how can I be able to climb my career, the ladder of career also in the US. So for example, if I'm in Ghana, and the truth of the issue is that when you look at Ghana and Africa, you see when people are calculating some of these things, there is a whole lot of social capital that we don't factor into it. Of course. For example, if you are working in the government sector in Ghana, chances are that almost every month, there are meetings that you go for, there will be allowances, you travel, and I mean, some of those bonuses come here and there. You know?
But if we want to talk about, the ordinary Ghanaian, the ordinary teacher, the ordinary nurse, who probably, teachers, for instance, they don't really get any allowance on monthly basis.
Yeah.
They wait until maybe November when they are paid some 1 kV.
Okay.
You see that thing?
Yeah.
So when you want to compare the life of the ordinary teacher, nurse, those that have traveled outside and those that are in the country, those that have traveled are doing far better than those who are in the country right now. Because you work 30 days and you are paid less than $200. That's too low.
Okay. So when I want to zoom the conversation down to the average Ghanaian average nurse compared to that in the UK. Now, the average Ghanaian person who is a teacher has at least, minimum of about 3 months as free period when there is holiday, right?
Yeah.
Good. But you won't get that in the UK. If you don't work for that 3 months, you will not eat for that 3 months.
And they are being paid on hourly basis.
Yes.
So the more you work, the more you get paid. The ordinary teacher here, whether you work hard or not, the salary is the same.
So that again, this is the conversation. The ordinary teacher goes to school at 8 or 7 and close at 3. So when you look at the hours of work in that day, the 12 hours that you have from 6 to 6, you're working barely, let's say, about 6 hours, 7 hours, right, actively.
Yeah.
If we really want to do the calculation in terms of labor hours and all that, productive hours, we want to take break times out of it. The average teacher in Ghana is working about 5 hours in the whole 12 hours.
Start paying them on hourly basis.
So now,
see the ones that will refuse to go to even break.
So fine. This is where I want to take the conversation from.
Okay.
If I know that I'm going to be using 5 hours out of my 12 hours work in a day. And if I'm in the UK, I can work for all those 12 hours and get paid. So if I'm a teacher in the classroom and I can work for 5 hours, per adventure, I could look for other means of making money as well to add up to what I have
in Ghana.
In Ghana.
You see, the feasibility of the opportunities for the ordinary person, like a teacher, to find something in addition, unlike in the UK where you can pick like 2 or 3 jobs in addition to your normal 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
We don't have those opportunities in Ghana where you can pick all those jobs and, have the convenience of working and being paid on hourly basis. And if you want to find something to do aside the teaching, it's probably going to be your personal business and in Ghana, we don't really have the structure and, the incentives to motivate these people to start their own thing. If you factor all those things, you realize that before a teacher can get something to do aside his normal 9 to 5 job, it's really, it takes a lot.
Okay, so I want to say something, right? And what you've said right now is what the average person will tell you. I want us to move from the complaints to start finding solutions.
So what is the way forward?
You see, I've been always hearing of this teacher nurse thing as far back as I was a child. First and foremost, what was the thinking behind most people going into teaching and nursing? I remember when I was finishing the teachers, there was a lady friend of mine, very great girl at the time. Her grades were good. And I told her that. She said she wanted to do nursing. I said, okay, fine. Why wouldn't you go to the university to go and pursue nursing? This was her response to me. She said, when I finish, who will employ me? That she could quickly get employed. She has employment security quickly when she goes to do the whole diploma stuff and all that. And I was like, no. You shouldn't. You see, it looks like education in Ghana has become just a medium of a license just to get employment. Sometimes it's beyond that. Knowledge acquisition itself has reward in many dimensions. So say, for example, if you're a teacher, you are being paid 1,500, whatever. You have 5 hours out of the 12 hours that you work for. Yes, the real situations are there. The question is, can I do something else? Show me what you are doing, what you have tried for the past years as a teacher, trying to break out of the box and it is not working. At least that will be a recompense. Talk about all the big businesses you are seeing today, even the big economies we are talking about had their own failing times. When there is a documentary on the men who built America, you look at that documentary and you look at the many times of failure. America went through a lot of economic depressions, a lot of challenges. In fact, one of the things that make men like, what's the name, JP Morgan, where their resilience during the times that there was a whole train failure system in the US and the solutions they brought. There were times that there was banking collapse. Far back in many years ago, US has gone through its own phase of development challenges. So the US you are meeting today was not the US 200 years ago.
Of course.
You get it? The UK you are meeting today was not the UK 100 years ago. I am also not saying that. You see, there are leadership issues, political and social issues. No two ways about it. I agree on that on any day. But I'm saying that if we sit down and we continue to complain, and we all think that the only solution is to travel out. If we are all believing that the average Ghanaian, we all believe that, okay, let's all just travel out. Okay, fine. Let's all travel out. So we finish school, we all just travel out. I'm asking myself, if we are traveling out to be foreigners in another man's country, the goal is to make money, put back in Ghana. Funny enough, that is the thinking of, okay, fine, if I go out, I make a lot of money, I can build a house in Ghana,
come back and
then come and marry my wife, go back with her, then when we retire, we come back to Ghana. So if all of us travel out, who is going to be building the Ghana we are coming back to?
The thing is that the ordinary Ghanaian is seeing that there could be a fix for all these problems. But our leaders are not doing all these things.
The truth of the issue is that no matter how we look at it, the reality is that our leaders may not be able to do everything. I'm not making excuses for politicians and all that. But what I'm also saying is that, okay, fine. for some time now, I've had a lot of close conversation with Ghana Investment Promotion Council. I mean, their CEO, Honorable Yofi Grant. And you'll be marveled at the number of businesses in the UK, US, who are always looking for prospects to move to Ghana. In fact, I think the foreign direct investment of Ghana as of last year or last 2 years was roving about I think $1.something billion. So the question is, I'm asking myself from hindsight, we are moving there. Do you know the funny thing? When we move there, it is not as if Ghanaians go to even the middle level management of those companies. They go to be the casual workers.
Of course.
The what's the name? The bottom staffs of those companies.
And they are comfortable with it, sadly. You know why?
And the unfortunate thing is that if you are comfortable with such, you see, and those companies, whilst they are employing you from Ghana, they are already turning over and trying to see a way of bringing their bigger investment, their growth plans are made towards Africa. Then it means that they are seeing something that we are not seeing.
You see,
because it is just like you being in your house, right? It's just like you being in your house. You are telling me that you want to send your children to my house because there is a good living in my house. And yet, whilst your children come and they are working for me and I'm paying them, I'm looking at acquiring your house or where you are staying. It should ask you that, what am I seeing? That whilst you are saying that your children should go to my place because there is a greener pasture at my place, and then let's say I've grown my business and I've made $1 billion and I'm thinking of, okay, well, how else do I invest it? I mean, people are not stupid with investment. People are not stupid with investment. And the white people are not stupid with investment. And whilst they are thinking about it, they are looking at, okay, fine. Why not come to Ghana and come and invest in Ghana? Why do you think Twitter want to have a head office in Africa? In Ghana, for that matter. Why do you think that Toyota want to have an assembly plant in Ghana? You think it's just for the gimmicks of it? And do you know how many countries are thereof? Why is Toyota Ghana not looking at having more plant established in the US? Why are they not looking at having more plant point established in Europe?
And so that should establish the fact that the ordinary Ghanaian is not really interested in traveling, but the need to survive.
That is what I'm saying.
For basic
it is the mentality
that they are not getting in their own country. That is why they go to someone's country and they find those basic living standards and they are okay with it.
That is what you see. That is what I'm saying, that it is the mentality with which we are approaching this conversation.
People can do anything in survival mode.
Of course. But then again, you see, I think, was it Sewame or Bolemundi or one of the ladies the last time said that if you are earning 5,000 cedis in Ghana, don't be quick to travel out.
So how you ask yourself, how many Ghanaians are earning 5,000 in Ghana?
Good.
Teachers are earning more than 3,000. Nurses earning less than 3,000.
So fine.
What can you do?
That is the private sector. You see, and for me, the public sector workers and all that is directly regulated by government. But for me, where I feel also that the public sector people have a lot of leverage is that there is a lot of social capital you can leverage from. Like I'm saying, if what it means is that, for example, just yesterday I was having a conversation with a friend of mine and I was just running him through some stuff. He works with a courier company. So I was asking him, how much do they turn over in a month? And he mentioned it to me. And then I asked him, what is their profit margin? I was asking him and all that. I asked him, so how much is the investment into the business? How much one motorbike costs? He told me. I said, so how much and everything? Do you know that with every conversation that I have with him, even in Accra, when you get as minimum as 30,000 Ghana cedis, you can start a career business. And the funny thing is, when you start a career business with 2 motorbikes with 30,000, you can be reckoning minimum of at least 10,000 Ghana cedis inflow every month, with a profit of about 30%.
So how many of us are exposed to this kind of knowledge in this country?
So the excuse of knowledge, that one cannot be blamed on government. So like I'm saying, instead of all of us sitting down to complain, like I'm saying, I mean, we are Ghanaians. We are not Ghanaians by choice. We are Ghanaians because God has made us Ghanaians. Yes. And whether we like it or not, we will be Ghanaians.
Of course.
There is nothing we can do about it.
We didn't make that choice ourselves.
We didn't make that choice ourselves, unfortunately. Yeah. And we are in the situation in which we are. There is a motivation I take from the worm that is in pepper. Is it those green peppers? There is a worm in them. There's an adage in air where they used to say, but let me translate in English.
So you say it in Ewe first before you say it in English.
I'm not sure I'll be able to get a full details in that way. But then it says that as hot as the pepper is, it is going to stay in it. It will grow in it, and it will birth in it.
Like a blogger.
I don't know how to say that. You know, last year, in fact, I think since 2014, I started studying the richest people in the world.
Okay.
From last year, I zoomed it down. I mean, I've learned about the richest people who are doing business in Africa, but then I started zooming down into the lifestyle and the thinking of those people. Is it not surprising that Dangote, Dangote as he is, has operated business in Nigeria and Africa for more than 3 decades?
Someone will tell you that someone laid the foundation for Dangote.
Forget about laying that foundation.
And his father
I want to
richest
first,
in Africa.
No, I'll still come back to that.
Okay.
But let me address this first. As Dangote has done business over 3 decades in Africa, why hasn't Dangote extended his business outside the shores of Africa? And he's still turning over in billions of dollars year in, year out. In fact, the Naira has been depreciating for these past 3 decades on an exponential level.
Yeah.
And yet Dangote still turn over in billions.
I think the Naira is doing worse than the Ghanaian cedi.
I mean, in fact, there's not even something you want to compare.
Yeah.
You know, 1 Naira to $1 is about 1,700 Naira.
If a Ghanaian goes to Nigeria, if you have 10,000 Ghana cedi, you become a millionaire in Nigeria.
You know, so
it's funny.
So I took the conversation from that point. Why is Adenuga, the likes of Tony Lumelu,
yeah,
I mean those guys, the South Africans and all those guys,
$10,
all those guys. I mean the South African guys. You want to talk about the likes of ShopRite and all those guys. Why are they not transiting their business outside of Ghana? First and foremost, Dangote's grandfather died in 1955 as the richest African.
Yes.
Correct. That is true. However, between that his grandfather and the Dangote we are meeting, and after this Dangote, there's been a lot of Dangotes. How many of them do we know of thriving in business? So that should tell you that this is not the only Dangote that is a generation of that Dangote. It took something for this Dangote to be Dangote. So we cannot just conclude on the fact that the grandfather was rich and so therefore it was a leeway. If it were to be that easy, maybe we should have if we had all the family members of Dangote post the current Dangote and pre-Dangote, all of them billionaires, we can conclude that okay, fine. Maybe their grandfather has just churned out wealth and has shared it to them and then they are all just dining on it. No, it tells you that there is something even this Dangote is doing that maybe the father didn't even do. There is something this Dangote is doing if he has an elder brother that the elder brother is not doing. There is something this Dangote is doing if he has a younger brother that the younger brother is not doing.
But of course,
that is what we have to ask ourselves. What is even this Dangote doing among the Dangotes that is making him the Dangote? So let's not just conclude that the father has a lot of money. Let me tell you something to conclude on this. When Coca-Cola, the real founders of Coca-Cola is not the Coca-Cola company today.
Yeah, true.
Yes, Coca-Cola, when it started about centuries ago, had a founder. The founder translated the business to the child. In fact, the current Coca-Cola company bought the Coca-Cola from that child. You get it? And then look at Coca-Cola today. Trump, you know the history of Trump.
A century still, they are running the show.
It is not just about running the shows. In fact, let me tell you something. Coca-Cola as a brand, as it stands now, is... I'm just trying to be careful not to exaggerate, but there was a research in 2014 or 2010 or so, I'm not really sure, but then there was a research that if you want to drink all the brands of Coca-Cola,
it will take you 9 years.
9 years. If you are drinking one brand,
yes,
it will take you 9 years. That should tell you the robustness of what Coca-Cola has become. In fact, Coca-Cola turns over about $500 million. It wasn't $1 billion in Europe and all that. So I'm just trying to let you know that people are putting in effort. People are doing things. And that is the questions that we have to be asking ourselves. You see, it is okay if your mom or your dad has been a teacher, she's sent you to school, you're also now a teacher. You can't come and give the same complaint that your mom gave. You can't come and give the same complaint that your dad gave. You can't come and give the same complaint that your uncle gave. You have to ask yourself. You see, the excellency of your life should be built on the fact that you have learned lessons from those who have gone ahead of you. You have seen their shortfalls. You have seen when they've been able to make some progress and see how you can be able to build on it. So if you come and then you also come and make the same, I mean, these excuses you are making, it's not new. This is not the first time you're hearing it.
Yeah.
People have made that excuse when Kufuor was in power. In fact, when I'm sure even when Nkrumah was in power, people made those excuses. People made those excuses when Rawlings was in power.
These are just the normal excuses of the ordinary Ghanaian. For example, the ordinary Ghanaian or any ordinary person could say that maybe they were not lucky enough to have their grandfather to be the richest in Africa, or they are not fortunate enough to have that luck that their father passed on a generational wealth to them, or passed on a generational product to them. Mm-hmm. You see, so there is a bit of lack opportunity here, because Bill Gates in his days, he was one of the most fortunate guys to have access to computers.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to contrast that with the ordinary person who isn't doing well in that field, you will realize that, okay, there's a bit of opportunity, there's a bit of luck, and there's a bit of, a personal work on the individual as well.
For me, I think it is more of the personal work than every other thing. Do you know why?
Yes, but of course, we can also look at all those.
I'm just careful. You see, I know that my position, most people will not be happy about it, unfortunately.
Of course, I'm not happy. Most people are trying to take away the fact that people are made with, several
the
conditions.
ordinary person you're talking about. The Bill Gates, the Warren Buffett, the Jeff Bezos, they are all ordinary people.
Of course.
Last time, just
take away the opportunities, take away the lack, take away other conditions.
Just about 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege of being with a very big contractor in Ghana. I mean, it's a popular contractor. If I mention you would know, but I mean, I wouldn't want to mention that here. And I saw his machinery base, the number of tipper trucks, the number of bulldozers and all that. And whilst I was seeing, I was admiring everything. I told myself in my heart that a time will come. This is how my machinery base will be. But when I came back home, the first question I asked myself is, this man knows something that I don't know.
Of course.
There is something he's doing that I don't know of. And you see, even God will not entrust me with that result right now, because chances are that it may even crash land me. For me, I believe that many of our young people, many of us, we the young people, we are not seeking knowledge.
He said the difference between you and the person you want to be is knowledge.
We are not seeking knowledge. We are not finding knowledge. Because like I said, I am not saying that traveling out is not in place. Let me tell you the truth. If I had the privilege of traveling out of Ghana today, it's going to be for two reasons. One, either there is something I am going to learn, come and replicate in Ghana and make money out of it. Or I am going there to find a business opportunity to come and implement here in Ghana.
Probably that's the idea.
If I'm telling you that
everybody has, those who are traveling, that's the idea. Most of them
are. Have conversation with most people. Ask them, fine, I'm traveling out, I want to go and work. What is the progression plan? The first thought about everybody who want to travel, a young guy, in fact, most of the time, the young guys who want to travel is because maybe they had a heartbreak from a girl who made them feel that you will not amount to anything. So the UK visa now becomes a revenge to let you know that you see, I know my burger.
That's very true.
You see, so that's what I'm saying, that the mentality with which we carry about it. You see, so you stay in the UK, you stay with businesses who are growing, you see startups, and after 10 years, you cannot be in the UK and still be doing our work.
Of course.
Let me know that if I enter UK, I'm going to start first with doing my hour works, what is the name, to be working on hourly basis. But within the next 5 years, I'm going to build, if you want to build a life of career, I'm going to take the life of career. Give me those records as you are traveling. I mean, it's good to start from wherever. I don't doubt any little beginning. I tell people that for me, when it comes to business or starting life, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you are selling tomatoes and then it's only 3 of them on the tree. I don't care about that. Let me know how that tomatoes can become a tomato factory in the future and how you're going to get that done. That is what I am interested in. So it is not about the hourly work. That is fantastic. It is good. it is a starting point. But let me know that when I travel to US, when I work for 2 years, I'm going to go back to school, or I'm going to do this. In 10 years' time, I'm building a business, and I'm going to be here by this time. But if the quest is just to travel, to go and make dollars, $1,000, and convert it back as 13,000 Ghana cedis, and come back during Christmas, come and show off, let the people know that life is now happening. Believe you me, then you are missing it. Yeah. You see, the issue of all these things we are talking about right now, it is about the fact that people want financial liberty, and financial freedom. And you see, the quest of financial freedom is not built at the point of what you do conveniently. Do you get it? It is not built at what you do conveniently. Believe you me, if you travel to US, even as a medical doctor or even as a nurse, and you are being paid on hourly basis, it will take a lot of tenacity, a lot of endurance, a lot of courage for you to be able to build a real career, or for you to be able to build a business in the UK or the US.
Most people say that, and I think we should redefine our motive for traveling outside.
That is basically what I am saying.
Because if you look at the likes of Canada, Japan, who traveled outside to, I think he went to Germany first, before he went to the US. And so he was washing plates and doing all manner of, these menial jobs until he started making money, and he decided to buy a house in Ghana, and he continued with that trajectory, and now he's back to Ghana to develop his country. If most of us, because the Western society is a developed one, and we can't all deny the fact that there are better opportunities there. There is exposure there. So anybody who travels there, goes there to see what is going on, goes there to educate himself, to learn. The knowledge they acquire when they come back here, it's a different game. They start playing a different game altogether. And so you realize that most of the people in Ghana who are, doing well, most of them have traveled outside.
Yeah.
And so if we can, redefine our perspective in that angle, most of the people who travel outside, not with the, notion of just going there, make money, make family, and remain there and never come back. Africa in the next 50 years would be a different place, like Singapore. And
it is also fine if you want to travel. You see, it's also a decision if you have made up your mind that I want to travel, I'll stay there for the rest of my life and build my life. For some reason, you don't think that you want Ghana again.
Yeah.
It's also fine. But all what I'm saying is that, you see, when people approach the issue of traveling, they make it look like once I travel, it's just going to be, it's just the glitz and the glamour.
Yeah.
You see, that is where I am not taking, that is what I am not comfortable with.
But we can't also take away the fact that people are traveling because they want to survive, because the living
survival issue.
Here.
Yes, the survival issue is there. It is okay to think about that survival stuff, but you see, you can't use a survival mentality to live for the rest of your life.
Of course.
So it is about the next 20 years, the next 30 years. Ask yourself, if I'm doing this job and I have to work 8 hours, 12 hours, 16, 8. In fact, I think we'll even work 18 hours out of the 24 hours. Will you still have that same energy in the next 20 years to come? What are you doing now to make sure that even if you are in the UK in the next 30 years and you can work for only 2 hours, you'll still be able to live and live well? You will not become a fugitive. You get it? That is where I am looking at the conversation from. And that is the same thing I'm also saying in Ghana. You see, I'm going to say something that I don't know if it's a good thing to say, but I think I'm going to say it.
If it is not good, to take it like that.
One of the major reasons why I am not so much enthused to travel was because when I was in the university, when I was in my undergrad, my program is such that before now, I think when you reach third year, most of the students are given opportunity to travel to Germany and I think Denmark also. And I don't think there was any of my lecturers who have not traveled out of Ghana to either do their masters or PhD. Some of them did masters and PhD stayed throughout and all that. I mean, almost all of them. But they will tell you how UK is nice, America is nice, Canada is nice, blah, 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 and all that. But they are back to Ghana. And I'm asking myself, why are you back to Ghana?
If that place is nice as you say.
I mean, as you are saying. You know, I mean, in the missing link, that has been a question in my heart. You know, I wish I had asked that question when I was in school those times. But when they tell me the story, at the end of it, the question I always wanted to ask is, why are you back to Ghana? When I meet people, there was a diaspora conference in 2021 that I attended, the President Grace and all that. And I hear people tell me that I've lived in the US for 30 years, I've done this, and I'm back to Ghana. And I'm now trying to start business in Ghana, and this challenge and that challenge. And I'm asking myself, why did you come back to Ghana? Why didn't you just start the business in the US? Why didn't you just start the business in the UK? With all
Probably
these,
it's difficult, the process of starting business.
So I feel that is why I'm saying that people are not telling the real stories. You see, I think there was somebody that wanted to travel to the UK, or I think one of the European countries. So I was asking the person, okay, I was engaging the person. So do you have an idea what sectors of the economy boom in that country? What do you think work? How is how do you think is the employment stuff? I know. I say, I don't know. I said, oh my God. You see, you are going into a country. Let me tell you. All my life, when I was going through school, I've always believed I was going to go to Kia University. In fact, it was always Kia University for me. Of course, the best university in Africa for that matter. So, but then what happened was, whilst I wanted to go to Kia University, among the many reasons why I wanted to go to Kia University is because there is a narrative that has been preached about Voltarians. They will tell you that the average Voltarian is a bookish person, we go to school long, and we become poor. That's what they will tell you.
Yes.
Painfully, unfortunately, it looks like it's true. Why it is looking like it is true is because when you look at most of the successful businessmen in Ghana, if you take about the 10 successful businessmen in Ghana, you're going to find about 1 or 2 Voltarians in them. About 70% of them are Ashantis.
Yes.
So that's what I say. Painfully and unfortunately, it may be true. I don't have data to back that, but then from hindsight, I just feel it's true. So I said, no, there is something about Ashantis that has to be learned. And I did a lot of study. I read about the 10 most powerful politicians year in, year out.
In Ghana?
In Ghana. Successful and powerful politicians. You find the Ashantis and Akansi in there. Successful businessmen. You find Ashantis and Akansi in there. Successful, even people in ministry. Every facet of life. Entertainment. Even in the what's the name? Average career life. The Ashantis are doing exploit. I said no. It is not to say that I'm despising being a Voltarian. I don't despise it. I'm proud. I'm a proud Voltarian. I appreciate who I am. I love being a Voltarian, and I'll be a Voltarian all my life. But I realized that there is something I have to learn about these people. So I did a lot of research about Ashanti region before I went to Kia University. Their business prospects, what they do, and all that. So when I went to Kumasi, one of the funny things I used to tell my friends those times was that I was going to marry an Ashanti lady who comes from where there is a gold in Ashanti region.
Maybe it's because of the gold.
But aside that, I realized that these people had a certain kind of mentality in terms with business and its prospects, and how I have to learn something from them. So for me, this is how I approach the conversation. So going to Kumasi, and believe you me, I started a first business journey in life in Kumasi as a young person. When we started Stud Express, I did that with a partnership with my friend in Nigeria.
I followed up with that.
Yes. And the program I did in Kia University is a very difficult program. Come with a lot of studio works and all that. And jungling this whole academic work
with business
as young people who don't even know left from right. Somebody is paying your school fees, you are there telling yourself you want to do business. But it brought a lot of lessons. And I can tell you that watch and dine cinema in Kumasi City Mall, I don't know if I'm sure it's still there today. We were some of the pioneers that brought that up.
Wow.
We brought Accra Goods Markets, the concept of Accra Goods Market, we brought it to Kia University for the first time when we ran the Kia University Goods Markets in August. I think that was September 2018. You get it? And there was an involvement in a lot of things. So, and it gives a lot of perspective.
What was the name of the business?
It was Stud Express.
Yes.
Student Express discount card.
Yes.
And that whole business was modeled.
So how did you come up with the idea of
So
that
the whole business idea came from UK. There is the discount card in the UK for university students. You see, this credit card and people using all that. So they have those cards. When they go to buy things, they get discounts. that is the whole idea that was replicated in Ghana. You see, and as I'm speaking to you now, Start Express is kicking starts very strong in Unilag in Lagos.
So it's still functioning even without you going to school?
Of course, we had, was it in 2020 during COVID? We had about $9,000 investment from the Netherlands for that.
Wow.
You know, and that is why I'm telling you that if a Netherlands person is trying to take his money to come and invest in Ghana, there is something he's seeing. You get it? So it is not as bad. It may be bad with the fundamentals, but it is not as bad when it comes to the opportunities. And you see, you talk about opportunities, you talk about three things. You talk about personality, you talk about opportunities, and then you talk about luck. The opportunities is such that it's not as if opportunity will be given on silver platter. You have to go get it. You have to find it. You have to look for it. You get it? You have to look for it. And if you don't look for it, you won't get it. Sometimes too, the opportunity comes and it meets unprepared people. You know, I think I was having a conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago, and I asked him if he has the privilege of meeting the president, what would he ask the president for? So if you have,
I think you asked me the same question.
Oh, okay, I asked you too, right? Yeah. So I was asking some of them. I asked them, if you have the privilege to meet the president today, 5 minutes, the president has given you 5 minutes of his time.
Ask anything you want.
Ask anything. What will he ask
and to
for?
Be done.
And as simple as this question is, I can tell you that if you ask 10 people, 9 of them will not have anything that they can tell you.
In fact, the day you asked me, I paused to think. I now started thinking of what to ask the president.
And you see, and yet everybody saying things are not working, this on that one. If I have the opportunity, I'll do this, I'll do that. Okay. Even those who are traveling to the UK, ask them, if you travel to the UK and you have the privilege to sit with the king one-on-one, what will you say? What will you do? How are you going to use that meeting to translate into what for you? If today you have the opportunity to meet with Joe Biden, are you going to be a billionaire after that meeting?
That's just a one-time opportunity you would ever get in life.
So what are you talking about? The opportunities are not there. Are we really ready for the opportunities?
So you ask yourself, how many people are getting that opportunity?
No, first, you see, when you are ready for that opportunity, it will come. I tell you for free. You know, when I had the privilege of meeting the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, people ask me, how did you do that and all those things? You see, and I tell them that, I mean, when people ask me those questions, first and foremost, largely is by the grace of God. I mean, it's just by the grace of God. It's not anything about me personally.
And I find
it's by the grace of God.
I find it hypocritical to, hear people say it's by the grace of God. It's by the grace of God. Then it looks as if some of us we don't have the grace of God.
No. You see,
because there are so many things.
The grace of God will broke the meeting.
Okay.
But your preparedness will make that meeting valuable. It is the grace of God who orchestrated the meeting, because quite honestly,
so people who are not getting the opportunity to probably meet the Chief Justice doesn't mean they don't have the grace of God.
No, you see, no, hold on. Even the grace of God has to be sorted for. Okay. I hope you know that. It's not for free. It's not on a silver platter. So now, I am a Christian. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe in God. I believe in the ministry of the Holy Spirit. I believe in Jesus Christ and all that. I know there is a point where there is a help of God that comes. But I also know that God will not announce me to a certain level if I am not prepared for it.
Of course.
For example, if Joseph had met Pharaoh earlier than he had met him, he would have died. They would have killed him most likely. But when he was prepared, Joseph needed just one opportunity.
Preach on.
You get it? Joseph needed one opportunity. But before that opportunity, Bible told us the rehearsals he was doing in the prison. The same thing with David. David just needed to kill Goliath to announce him. But before killing of Goliath, there was a lot of rehearsals that was going at the backside of the desert. Show me the rehearsals we are doing as young people. I mean, now we have phone, we have internet, TikTok and all that. As an average person, what investment are you doing?
What are you using those tools for?
What preparation are we making? What do you want to see out of your life for the next 5 years? Show me the investment you are making into it. The next 10 years, show me the investment you are making into it.
You know, it's a very real conversation, because
so you see, it is only when you are prepared, because God will also not want to embarrass himself. I tell you for free.
Say that.
God will not want to embarrass himself. God will not want to embarrass himself. You see, so by the time God will want to bring you to the place, imagine God take the foul David and take it to God. They would have killed him and shred his destiny and finish him, and God would have still been this disgrace. But when he